Hello everybody. Some of you have requested a tutorial on how to use these tire entities, so I'm going to give you a brief overview on how to build with them and how to build effectively with them and get the best results. So with the tire tool, if you've seen the other videos, this should be familiar. You have your radius, it sets your radius, your patch width, contact patch width, and pressure. Pressure doesn't do much right now. It's going to play more of a role when I implement more pressure stuff, so lower pressure tires get more grip but also have more rolling resistance, that kind of stuff. That's soon to come. Next we have tread type. Now there's 3 tread types. There's racing, sport, and dirt. Racing gets a double grip modifier on tarmac and concrete, like this material, but gets a significant grip penalty on dirt and other materials. So if you're on a track, you're good, but if one of your wheels comes off the track and you give it throttle, that wheel is just going to spin out, like just slip out from under you. So there's a penalty for doing that. Sport is a hybrid between the dirt and the racing. It performs relatively well on tarmac. Stay off the dirt still, not dirt tires. It's like taking your regular car tires and driving on grass or whatnot. And then your dirt tires get not as good as grip as sport on tarmac, but they get equally as good a grip on grass and dirt. So stick to the trails with the dirt tires and use accordingly. You can also, as you'll see, you can update your tires and change them. So let's say you have a Jeep that you want to race, throw some racing tires on there, and then if you want to climb with it, throw the dirt ones on. Right now there's the models. There's some bugging with the scaling, and apparently somebody told me that that's going to be patched with the next WireMod update or something. I don't know. As you can see, the scaling is off with these ones, so stick to the source tires for now. I'm sorry. You could always make them invisible and use an E2 to pair in a hologram or whatnot. So we're going to make sport jalopy tires. Let's do a radius of 10, width of about 6. So there's our tire. It is a sphere, so this bounding box, in the next update will be the sphere bounding box, so that way you don't get accuracy issues with Smart Snap and stuff, because I've been having those with these adjusted render hitboxes, so those will be fixed. And yeah, as you can see, we can take this tire now, hold it up. Let's say we don't like, we want it to be a little bit bigger, make the radius a little bigger. Also do it with the C menu, make it a little bit thinner. Now constraints are saved, so if I axis center this on to here, make sure to freeze your tire. It's very important before you change the constraints, because what it does is when you update it, it copies all the constraints, throws them in a table, freezes it, changes its size, and when it's done with that, reapplies the constraints. So if it's unfrozen, when your constraints are sagging like they tend to do in Gmod, it will recreate the constraints from the sagged positions, so you will get messed up positions on your tires and stuff. But as you can see, we can make this smaller, and we still have the axis constraint. So it's really cool. So you can just throw some tires on at the beginning of your building and then change their sizes to fit accordingly later on. That kind of stuff. Important is an update I made to the tool is the initializing has been changed to right click. So after you've constrained your tires, after your tires are now fully incorporated onto your contraption, right click on them and you'll get a readout saying, 94 kilograms on the total contraption and how many tires detected. It computes a loading for the wheel and puts it on that. Do that for each wheel, okay? This means you don't spawn the tires, initialize them, and throw them on a contraption and expect them to work, because it's going to have a really low loading value, because essentially you haven't initialized it to the contraption load. It's just on the load of the tire. So that's where some of you guys are having problems with the wheels spinning and whatnot. What else? Oh, new part of the tool is you can press reload and get information from the world and from tires. So I have this tire. I can press reload on it. It tells me current tire settings, my diameter, my width, and my pressure. I'm working on getting it to. I was having some bugs outputting what tread type. I don't know why, but as you can see, you can also right click on the world. It'll tell you the the material of that world. So you can see this is concrete and tarmac, and if I go to the dirt, it says dirt. Yay, much rejoicing, that kind of stuff. So now how does this work on a contraption? So I have a dupe here. I'm gonna spawn it. Sadly, it should be an easy fix. You have to reinitialize the tires after the dupe. So you go to each one, right click, and you'll set the loading. Technically it should work, but what's happening is the tires are spawning first and initializing before Duplicator spawns the constraints, so it's not getting the constraint props. I'm going to implement a timer system, or maybe there's a function I can call from Duplicator when the duplication's finished to initialize, so hopefully in the future you shouldn't have to go do that again. But as you can see, I can, let's see, that's 15-inch, 5-inch wide, but let's say I want a little bit more grip on the back. So these are originally 15 by 5s, they're now 15 by 7s. I can now take this and drive it. Now, with these tires, it's best that you don't use jerky or steering, because like real tires, imagine if you're driving a car in real life and you just crank it 45 real quick. They're gonna bite pretty hard, you know? So the snappy steering isn't really the best when doing this. I'm gonna release an E2 for mouse steering. It's a 3D mouse steering, so you guys can all have really smooth steering that works really well with this. As you can see, we got some slip on our back tires because this is a rather torquey engine on a really light frame. So when I go in a corner, it's gonna spin those back tires and put me sideways like that. As you can see, I can get some tires into dirt, and then you're going to lose control pretty easy. So other things, I don't know if Tweak has committed it yet, but for now you have to use a drive plate. But I updated some ACF files, and people are talking it should be committed. You should be able to link directly from the gearbox to the tires in the next ACF patch if everything goes to plan. One final thing to talk about when building with these tires, a lot of you use this Setang plate steering. As you can see, mine's not doing all too well. But if you set this to, like, 50,000 kilograms, right, and you initialize your tires, it's going to detect 50,000 kilograms and put an insanely high load on the tires, and you're going to get some spazzing issues and stuff if you update these all. See if I can recreate it. But the other day, it was just having nothing but issues with that. So set your steering masters to reasonable weight. So if your tires weigh 50 kilograms each, these usually don't need to be more than 200 kilograms. With that said, I'm working on a fix for that. Pretty much when you initialize it, it doesn't get ball socket constrained entities. Like, it'll ignore the ball socket constraints when finding constrained things. So if you build with your steering master only constrained to your car by a ball socket to the wheels, it should be able to ignore the mass of the steering master, and you guys could go back to having your stupid 5,000 ton steering plates. But until then, watch the weights, because it can cause some issues. As I said, I'm actively developing this add-on. I don't think I'm going to be stopping anytime soon, so stay tuned as always, and there's always going to be updates.